What's that?
Dinosaur.
What's that?
Dinosaur.
Oh, you pet the dinosaur? And welcome to Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Desk of Ladyada. Happy Sunday, everybody. We're at my desk. This is like part two of our dino resuscitation. So, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Ladyada picked up a used, non-working Pleo toy. This is a toy.
You can get tons of these. They don't work. The batteries don't work. They're basically either going to the landfill or they're on eBay.
Yeah, and not too expensive. And we love getting old things working again. So Phil tasked me with figuring out why wasn't it running. And last week we figured out the battery was like super dead, which is a common thing. That this was made what in like 2000
Yeah,
or something.
92. Let me get the dates.
No, it wasn't. Maybe it was like 90.
I don't know. Let me get the dates again.
It was quite a while ago. So these batteries are like 20 years old. And so not too surprising, they're broken and corroded because nickel metal hydrides don't really last that long. They're meant to be replaced. So last week on the Great Search, we located battery packs.
2006. Sorry, it's not 90s.
Yeah.
Close. 2006.
It's 20 years old.
Yeah, and then in 2009, the company went bankrupt, and there's just a bunch of these out there. And like a lot of like the Titty Ruxpin project we did and more, these are fantastic, ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Super fun. Kids love them. Adults love them. There's a project you can do together, but you just need a little bit of know-how and
Yeah.
more and be able to find the right things. So that's why Desk of Lady is here.
Okay. So last week got the battery packs. Let's go to the overhead. So I did this morning. So I didn't do this live because it was super messy and took like an hour and a half to do the whole thing. So these are the battery packs that came in. I got the 3 times 2.7 amp hour battery, which is great because it's much better than the existing battery pack. And then I cut open the battery pack. So it was really glued together. The way it worked is, maybe there's like one battery missing somewhere. It's like on the floor. There were 6 of these batteries. You can tell, like this one in particular, totally corroded. This one actually is probably fine. Some of these are okay, but still, they do age. They're not really meant to be around that long. But this one was the one that was causing the problem. It's even a little poofy. So to get this open, I had to peel off the heat shrink like tubing that was on each battery because the batteries were glued together. You can see here, maybe. It's like super bright here. You can see here, they were glued into the pack. So all the batteries, there were 6 of them and they were like individually glued onto the center. There's like a little center post inside here. So I removed those and then this battery came also with a heat shrink cover, which so I had to remove this, and it turns out actually there was a little thermistor fuse inside too, which is not a bad idea, but they didn't warn you about it. So this opens up at like, it looks like 55C. So if it overheats during charging or discharging, it'll cut open. So that's a protective measure. But unfortunately, this, while I would have liked to keep these, they were in the way because again, there's this post in the center and they were bumping up against the post. So I removed them from each of the 2 packs and soldered the tabs closed. And then mostly it's just a game of kind of fitting this together. And then you need to have one wire that goes from one spot to the other. Do you want me to take this apart, Phil? And then the thermistor is here.
Your show.
Yeah, I can take it apart. I can always just retape it. So the only thing is it's like the what you're supposed to do is use like a gigantic heat tube to get this back in because you can see it's like not big. I just used some Kapton tape. It's a very tight fit. So these are the batteries. And then see very carefully. It does fit, but boy, it's like I'm trying to be super careful here because I know this plastic is brittle, and these batteries are. The tabs are a little brittle too. They're not really meant for wrangling. And then there's these little nibs that keep things from coming out easily, and I don't want them. They're catching on the tabs. So really, I shouldn't be doing this because I have a fair chance of breaking it. But boy, this is very risky. Let me get my screw up. I can match this. Yeah, because you see these. There's these little retainer bits, and I don't want them to, they scrape against here and they could pop off the tabs. So this is where that thermistor was here. So I removed it and just soldered this in place. And then I just soldered a little silicone wire here. This is the thermistor that it comes with. You do need to keep this. It will not charge without that thermistor. So you solder it to the negative, and then there's a little paper tab that goes over the soldered connection. And then this is the thermistor other contact, the non-ground contact. And then this is the this tape. I should have made this tape. That was for the thermistor. So then the other thermistor was here, it was removed. So yeah, you just have to kind of like be careful when you wedge this in, because it can go in, but you have to be a little careful. And then I like to tuck this in here, and it's okay. You have to you want to get it so those tabs don't. There you go. Okay. So that's that. Oh wait, shoot. I put it in wrong. Watch out. Sorry, it goes this way. Because this is the negative. You can actually see very carefully it's the negative. So maybe you want to be like so delicate. Okay. So then this goes into the little crevice here. So what I want to get is, let's go to the computer. I'll show the next. I should have gotten this, but I didn't go to the part of the video. This is the video which I watched, which is just by somebody who's clearly done this multiple times. Because I was like, as they were doing it, I was like, wow, how did you do this? Like, so like they did the whole battery in 15 minutes, and like somehow it took me like 90. So when they get here, they put it together, and then they have, they test it, and they're like, okay, great, it's good. I just tested it with a multimeter. And then they put it together, and they use this heat shrink. It's very, very thin heat shrink tubing, like for packaging, like for battery packs. And you heat gun it, and then you need to have it be like, so like the way I did it is I Kapton taped it, like trying to be as tight as possible, but even that wasn't tight enough. You really do need to have this, and you have to have it be smooth over the body so there's nothing to catch on. Okay, so let's go back to the battery overhead. So then I tested it with a multimeter. So this is positive and this is negative. And yeah, 7.6 volts, which is what we wanted. Because 7.2 was the these nickel metal hydrides ship charge, so that's kind of nice. I don't have to charge them. And then do you want me to try to fit this in? I can retape it.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
How it works out.
Okay, let me get my Kapton tape.
So you're doing this. Let me go to some footage of it in action from their video.
Yeah.
Go to our video that we shot too.
Okay, so yeah, I want to go to okay. So I've got this Kapton tape, which I love. It's just very thin tape, right? That's all I really need here. Until I get this special stuff. Hardest. beginning. Okay. And then, yeah, what I did is like, as I taped it, I just held it really tight to try to like squeeze it up against the, that center bit. Okay. This is just to keep it in place. Okay, so now it's like a super tight pack. And even though you're like, oh, this, you know, I didn't even do a good job, as you can see. I could have squeezed this more. So maybe I can squeeze this one. Because it is a tight fit. Yeah, that's much tighter. Even though you're like, oh, like this is recessed, it's okay because if you look at like the way the charger is designed, they have these like very long nubs fit in. So then let's fit in and we'll drop our scissors. Okay, so this is the PLEO and this is the body. So you have to line up. It only goes one way. So there's the 3 contacts. You can see the 3 contacts and there's this little plastic nub that only fits one way also. So I'm just going to be like super delicate. Oh, you know what? I actually packed it pretty good because it fits nice and smoothly now. Okay. And then close it and then you turn it on and it takes like a minute to boot. So let's see how this does. Opens its eye.
Hello.
All right, so
All right. So since we did one test before, how about we show what the kid thinks about it?
okay.
Kid tested. Kid approved. Here we go. What's that?
Dinosaur.
What's that?
Dinosaur.
Oh, you pet the dinosaur? Or you could turn that on. What's that?
Dinosaur.
What's that? Have a small loop.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the mark.
Okay.
Oh,
So
you pet the dinosaur?
Task complete. I mean, it took me
What's
like
that?
90 minutes to get there. Now I'm showing up in 5 minutes. So
What's
let's
that?
go to the great search because the next thing we have to do is we have to get the battery charger working.
Where in the world is that part I need? The great search with DigiKey.
The Great Search brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit. Every single week, Ladyada uses the power of engineering to help you. Yes, you find the things on digikey.com. Thanks, DigiKey. Ladyada, what were you searching for
This week.
this week and last week?
Okay, so let's go to the overhead because stuff is all green. It doesn't show up on the big screen. So last week we found this Dantona. I removed the plastic, but the Dantona battery pack, 2700 milliamp hour battery, which is great because it gives us another 20% of battery life for this PLEO. We repacked the batteries and we just showed that. And as I repacked, it's actually kind of nice. It's working great. And these come charged, but I do, the battery doesn't last a ton because it's got like 8 motors and they're pretty hefty. So I want to charge this up with the charger it comes with, and this fits in pretty easily, and it snaps in. And to release it, you press this. There's a little, like nub here. Problem is that this is before USB became like, the USB-C became very popular. So they have a DC power requirement, and it's not a standard, like I have a 12 volt. I can't show it here. I've got this 12 volt thing, but it doesn't fit. I don't know if I can, yes, I'll plug it. Sorry. Sorry. So this is your standard 5.5 millimeter outer diameter, 2.1 millimeter inner diameter. Does not fit at all. And pretty high current requirements, 12 volts, about an amp. So next thing I have to do is I have to find a matching power supply for this so I can charge it. Good news is we've got a pair of calipers and the DigiKey catalog, and I think we will be able to do it. So here is calipers. So first off, we're going to measure as best we can the inner diameter, sorry, the outer diameter by measuring inside here. Turn it on. Battery's dead, but it's okay. All right, so
Make it focus on
okay, so like 3.95, right? So basically 4 millimeters is the outer diameter. And then it's going to be tough, but I don't know if we can measure the inner diameter. We can't quite get our little jaws in there, but like it looks like about, just eyeballing it, it looks like about a millimeter. Oh, this is very, very challenging. Okay, looks like about, there you go, about 1 millimeter, maybe a little bit less. Good news is that, you know, people don't invent new sizes of DC power jacks. Like there's a couple standards, like the 5.5/2.1 millimeter, 5.5, 2.5. So let's go to DigiKey and we're going to find an AC adapter that we can use that will fit. And we'll, now that we know the measurements, the voltage, the current, we're good to go. So let's look for AC adapter because we're going to, you know, obviously there's something that plugs into the wall. AC desktop wall power adapters. That's what we want because we want DC out. So now, as usual, we're going to only look at active. So let's start with that. And that gets us down to about 9,000 items. Next up, we know that we need a 12-volt output. So we'll type in 12 here. There's ones that do variable. I'm going to just go with the fixed instead of, you know, I don't need to spend more for variable or multi output. So let's do 12-volt output. And that gets us down to about 1,700 options. Next up, the output connector, right? So it's a barrel plug. So there's a lot of plugs. There's AC and phono and DIN, but we want barrel plug. And remember that we measured the output was, so outer diameter was about 4 millimeters, inner diameter like about 1 millimeter. So let's see what we've got. This is outer, yeah, unfortunately we can't filter by outer diameter, so we're gonna have to look here on this gigantic list because there's so many combos. Outer diameter. Wait, there's multiple outer diameter. Oh, I see. Sorry. I thought the outer diameter was 10 millimeters. Like, that's huge. That's the length. So actually, let's start from here. So these are 5.5, 5.5, 2.35, 2.5, 4 millimeters. This is 1.7 millimeter inner diameter. I don't think it's 1.7, but I'll click it just in case. I know that the outer diameter is 4 millimeters. I don't think it's going to be 3.8, but I'll click that too. 4 millimeters. Let's keep going. I think that's it. Maybe it was like 1 point. Yeah, maybe just like 1.3. 4. I think I got them wrong. Okay. No, I think maybe I'm confused. Hold on. Let me reset. I don't know what I searched for earlier. You can. Oh. That's odd. I remember there being more. No, I'm doing something wrong. 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me do output current, because that I know for sure. I need 850 to 2 amps. I don't need, this is huge. Okay. And then I know that it's I want something in stock. And then I want either North America or international. because I live in Australia. If you live in Australia, click Australia or international. And then I definitely want positive center or either. I don't want negative center. Okay, and then let me look at what's available here. So these are chunky. Okay. Yeah, these are all 5.5. And this is like the international. Comes with a couple different options. So let's look at the output plug again. Oh, so there's barrel plug kit, which I can't see, but let's also maybe do 3.5 millimeter. I could be mistaken about that. It could be that there's now that I think of it, 4 millimeters would actually be a tight fit. So I think it might be 3.5 millimeter. And yeah, because there's no 4. I think 4 is actually some other. My measurement was off a little bit. So let's do this. I don't want screw terminal leads. Okay, so now this is output connector. They don't say. I think if they don't say, it's going to be 2.1. Yeah, so let's get rid of that dash for the output connector. Let's just do 3.5 millimeter. Okay. Ooh, I like this. I like this one because it comes with a couple different options. This one also looks right. Let's see pricing. This one is the least expensive, but I kind of like this one because it comes with a couple different plugs. This is the same thing pretty much. Oh, this is 3.3 volts. Let's see 3.3. Weird. This one is 1.5 amps, 12 volts. Multi-blade if you want. So I'm gonna go with this one because I think that this is like the most, if you're gonna get a power supply, I like one that you can use for a couple different things. So let's see, can look up the rendering. So this one has a little slot which you can connect any like standard 2-prong tip, and you get the little connector, which I guess is 3.5. Actually, we have let me see, we have this outlet. Let me test it. I have that wondering, maybe I mismeasured. Okay, so let's go to the overhead. Oh yeah, it's, you know what? The hole was 4 millimeters, but the actual plug is 3.5. So a good warning that you want to measure not just the oh yeah, you know what? If I measure the plastic, which I didn't do, the plastic is 3.8. So 4 millimeters wouldn't fit. So
These are the type of tips you don't get on the competitors show. Desk of Bob.
My error is your learning.
Desk of Bob.
Yeah.
Glosses over these things. Lots of hand waving from Bob.
Because I was wondering, like, oh, it's a 4, but there's no such thing. Like, that there's such thing 4 millimeter, but the fact that it was very rare. Because usually it's like whatever you find is, there's only a couple very common connectors. So yeah, this is 3 point. This is, even though this is.
There is no Desk of Bob.
Desk of Bob.
Yeah.
3.5.
By the way.
Okay, so I like this one. So this is my pick. This one, the WRQ.
Okay.
Because it's about the same price as a single outlet. Oh, keep the computer. This is the same price as a single outlet, but you can select the polarity and you can also reuse it as a 2.1 millimeter. However, if you do want like a dedicated adapter, this one's in stock, and this one will 12 volt, 1 amp, wet connector, nice efficiency. This one's also very good. So both are great options for your resuscitated PLEO connector battery.
That's great, Serge.
Where in the world
Alrighty, that is our Desk of Ladyada of the week this week. Probably got to move the camera.
Sorry, I leaned back.
Oh, okay.
I got
That's okay.
casual.
I gotta move the camera around. We're still getting into our new digs and more.
I can see my desk a little bit.
Yeah, you got a desk. So lots of shows and more. We're probably gonna go outside more. Check out our social media. We have some images of Ladyada using EagleCAD. Yes, we are switching to KiCad, and more as
Yeah.
we kick off a year. Big reset for us in Brooklyn. Just kind of our new year, and more. So we'll have some factory footage from Industry City, a bunch of surprises, more projects, more. We'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
What's that?
Dinosaur.
What's that?
Dinosaur.
Oh, you pet the dinosaur?